Welcome to the ZF Trailer Brake System Configurator. By choosing the functions and trailer types below, the tool will suggest required components and provide a bill of material including part numbers based on your inputs. Here at the top of the page, we invite you to leave feedback to enhance the future configurator features. Note: the configurator is for demonstrative purposes of the capabilities of the iABS modulator. The feasibility of the configurator must be confirmed by an expert. For additional support, you can contact your ZF partner directly. To begin using the iABS configurator, you will first need to select the vehicle type. This is based on the type of trailer and the number of axles. The length of the trailer does not matter at this point. For our example, we're going to choose a 2-axle semi-trailer. After selecting the vehicle, the page will extend. Next is the feature selection, which is comprised of 3 parts: the internal functions of the ABS itself, the subsystems you would like to add to the base ABS, and the GIO functions, which stands for General In and Outs. Note: some of these boxes are grayed out as those functions are already integrated features of iABS. Also, some boxes will not allow you to make a selection due to that feature not currently being available. And finally, the remaining feature boxes can be optionally selected. If you are unaware of what an item is, you can click on the information button in the top left corner of each function icon, and information related to that particular feature or subsystem will appear for your review. In this example, we will select the trailer cast function under subsystem and axle load monitoring under GIO functions. Then we can click the next button to proceed. In the next step, you will select the appropriate ABS modulators depending on if you have a 2-sensor, 1-modulator system, a 2-sensor, 2-modulator system, or a 4-sensor, 2-modulator system. For this example, we will select the iABS 1 Modulator Premium and click the next button to continue. Now we've reached the component allocation section. These are trailer-specific categories, so you will need to determine the type of cables and the lengths of cables you will need. Let's start by looking at the options for the power supply cable. Here, you can select the cable type, as well as the cable length, and then click on the Add to BOM button, which stands for Bill of Material, to confirm your choices. This will now bring you back to the component allocation screen, where you can now see your power supply cable selection has been added to the Bill of Materials, as well as a green circle is next to the power supply cable button, indicating that you have made your selection. Now let's select our ABS cable and sensor type for sensor D. You will notice some drop-down menus may not be available. This is because the system has already pre-selected the only option in the menu. Similar to the power supply, we need to select cable length. However, we also need to select the ABS sensor type, as well as the part number, which could also be chosen by its length. Note: extension cables have the option where the cables can be the same length and size and added to your bill of material with a single click using the Add to BOM for All button. However, you can individually select each of your sensor cable options. For this example, we will select our cable options separately and continue by just adding these options for our sensor D cable. We will select our sensor C cable options in a little bit. Before that, let's select our subsystem devices. You will notice 2 of the drop-down menus have already been pre-selected for you, and in this case, we only need to select the subsystem device as well as the cable length. Now let's select our ABS cable and sensor type for sensor C. This window will likely look similar to the sensor D cable we recently completed. Here, we can select the specific options for this sensor and cable and then proceed. Moving on to our final item, let's select our GIOs, devices, and cables. Note, here you will need to select the appropriate GIO devices and cables based on your selections made previously in the Configurator in Step 2. Under GIO 1, we will select our axle load monitoring, which we chose previously in Step 2. Doing so will reveal options we need to select. Some options may not have a selectable item depending upon your choices, as well as other options have already been pre-selected for you. Moving down the menu, we need to select the main GIO cable length as well as an additional cable in its length. Moving over to the other side of the menu, we will find that we have no additional items in the GIO 2 section because we did not select any other GIO items during Step 2 in the Configurator. We can now select Add to BOM and review our choices. Note, you should have green circles for each button in Step 4 once you have completed your entire selection process. Scrolling down the page a little bit more, you should now see your complete BOM list itemized. You can now verify this information and remove any parts that you may have already installed on the vehicle or on hand. And finally, you can export and email this list as many times as necessary. This concludes a brief explanation of the iABS configurator, and thank you for watching.